Nintendo just revealed some major news about the future of the Nintendo Switch, and it is official. Nintendo has started developing their next generation gaming hardware after the current Nintendo Switch revision. We also have some massive numbers to talk about that were revealed during Nintendo's fiscal earnings report that have some serious implications, and Nintendo just announced 2 brand new games for the Switch that look actually pretty good. And finally, a Nintendo Switch data miner has discovered a major problem in the version 12.0 firmware. Hey, what's up everyone? Wes here. Welcome back to another Nintendo Switch news video. And it goes without saying that the Nintendo Switch is an absolute powerhouse in the gaming market. And since the release in 2017, it has sold extremely well, proving that it is not the dumpster fire that was the Nintendo Wii U. According to Nintendo's fiscal earnings report, the Nintendo Switch is now sitting at an incredible 84.59 million consoles sold, which is getting extremely close to surpassing the Nintendo Wii, which they expect to surpass sometime this year. Now, with 84 million consoles sold, they have also sold 587 million games, with 42% of those being digital only. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning is the massive influx or spike of hardware and software sales can be attributed to the global stay-at-home situation, and Nintendo has announced that they do expect a revenue dip after this year. But regardless of the situation, these numbers are impressive and definitely showcase how popular the Nintendo Switch is with consumers. So you're probably wondering how these numbers are relevant to you. Why should you care if the Nintendo Switch and games on the platform are doing well? These numbers are crucial to not only the future success of Nintendo's first-party games, but this also opens the eyes of many publishers and developers who might be hesitant about releasing their games on the Switch. One of the biggest reasons the Wii U failed is because they didn't have the support of third-party developers. Things have changed with the Nintendo Switch, and at the end of the day, the larger the Nintendo Switch install base is, the more likely we will get more new games. The epic battle between the 2 Nintendo Switch juggernauts continues with the most updated sales numbers for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing New Horizons. According to the earnings report, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has passed 35.5 million copies sold, with Animal Crossing New Horizons at 32.6 million copies. I thought for sure Animal Crossing would surpass Mario Kart, but the battle for number 1 continues, and I think it's safe to assume Animal Crossing will likely take the crown eventually, especially with the rumored 2.0 update, which should drive even more sales to the game and hopefully revealed at E3 2021. Moving on to the biggest news of the day, Nintendo has confirmed that it is currently in the development of the next generation of Nintendo's hardware and software. And no, we're not talking about the all but confirmed Nintendo Switch revision or the Switch Pro. We're talking about the console after the end of the Nintendo Switch lifecycle. This news is also coming from Nintendo's official earnings report. As reported by Daniel Ahmad, Nintendo continues to invest heavily in the research and development. In fiscal year 2020/21, Nintendo spent approximately 880 million on R&D, which just so happens to be more than any prior year. According to his tweet, this represented 5.3% of total revenue, which is a lower percentage than prior years, primarily because of their strong revenue growth. Now, according to a tweet from David Gibson, a Japanese investment advisor, he summarized how the R&D was being spent. The question was posed, in what areas is the increased R&D being spent? Nintendo responded, we are still midway through the Switch cycle, so software plus outsourcing costs are increasing for the Switch, which is the main factor. Also, cost per title is increasing and need a certain level of scale, and Nintendo is investing in online as well. Although midway through the Switch cycle, it is necessary to invest in the next platform where hardware and software integrated will continue. Now, the question of how much of that budget is being spent solely on the new hardware will remain unknown, but what we do know is that Nintendo is ramping up research and development to produce new hardware, games, and increasing its investment in online. Now, we can't really see any of the stuff with the new games as well as hardware, but one thing that we can see is Nintendo is clearly ramping up its commitment to online, especially with Nintendo rolling out their new server infrastructure named NPLN and moving away from the garbage Next servers. Now, they still have their work cut out for them, but I'm excited to see some of that R&D budget being utilized for online. Now, as for the hardware and software, with the Nintendo Switch currently in the middle of its generation and a new iteration that is rumored for release later this year, this new Switch hardware is likely in its infancy stage, and we won't see any of this come to fruition until at least 2024. I hope that whatever Nintendo decides to do for their next gaming hardware, they keep the Nintendo Switch hybrid aspect of the console. But this is Nintendo we're talking about, so whatever they decide to do for their new hardware, it will be bold and it's gonna be crazy. Now, moving on to our next bit of news, Nintendo just announced 2 brand new games for the Nintendo Switch. The first one being called Game Builder Garage, which is essentially a game where you make games. According to the Nintendo website, the description states, have you ever dreamed of building your own video games? The Game Builder Garage software is a great place to start. Anyone can learn the basics of game design and visual programming with step-by-step lessons created by the minds at Nintendo. The game is coming in at $29.99 yes, we're talking about a Nintendo Switch game by Nintendo that is less than $60, which is pretty good, especially whenever you consider the fact that it is a programming tutorial on how to make games by Nintendo, and it's only $30. Now, according to the website, it says you'll be able to exchange codes to download games created by others. It even says you'll be able to look at the programming behind the downloaded games and use this feature to work with friends. This kind of reminds me of Nintendo's version of Sony's Dreams. Let's just hope Nintendo decides not to issue DMCAs on their own game. And furthermore, this is finally the opportunity that we can make Metroid Prime 4 ourselves. Next up, Nintendo is going to be getting Super Animal Royale on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we don't have a release date yet, but we have a new trailer that was announced by Nintendo. Super Animal Royale is a 2D top-down battle royale coming later this year to the Nintendo Switch. Collect, loot, and shoot your way to the top of the food chain. Now, Super Animal Royale is indeed free to play on Steam right now. I'm not sure if they're going to be releasing it free to play on Nintendo Switch, but it's looking like it will be. We don't have any confirmation of its release date or if it's going to be cross-play with Steam at all or with Xbox or PlayStation, but we will be getting Super Animal Royale on the Nintendo Switch nonetheless. Now, for our last story, there is a major problem with the version 12.0 update of the Nintendo Switch. It was discovered by someone named Connor on his Ponestry blog. Version 12.0 update showcases an exploit that allows you to run your own JavaScript code on any device that connects to a Switch. Now, according to Nintendo Life, they've also talked to Connor and they've confirmed that version 12.0.1 also has the exploit. Connor then goes on to mention that this vulnerability does not allow the user to run code on the Switch, so the exploit actually cannot be used to hack the system in any way, but it could be used for potential mischief anyway. Now, according to Connor's blog, he has redacted on what the actual exploit could do, and that is because Nintendo has gotten in touch with Connor and they have requested that they do not release any of the hacking specifics for a while, at least until Nintendo can release a hotfix for the exploit. Now, this does seem like a non-issue, but this is the internet we're talking about, and with any exploit, it can be taken advantage of, and I hope Nintendo is able to release a hotfix soon. That's going to wrap it up with today's Nintendo Switch news. Thank you for watching. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you on the next video.